I was gonna say, look, we're both Asian, right? And there's a taboo around this sort of line of work, especially when we're groomed from a young age, to be involved in some sort of high skilled labor. How did you tell your friends and family, and do they know exactly what it is that you do in your spare time? In my full time, in my instance.
Well, the taboo is definitely there, and I'd say that most of my friends know that I love a pun because I've always just loved having a bet. I'd say my family knew that I probably have a bet as well, but I don't think they'd know the full extent of my betting and the full extent of what I plan on doing it. And you're right. I mean, you've got subcontinent parents. I'm sure you went through the same thing. But
Oh yeah.
for me, when I first told them that, hey, I'm going to make or attempt to make a living betting on cricket and rugby league and AFL, I mean, I felt like I was like a naughty teenager again. Like I just got embarrassed. They're like,
Yeah.
you're an engineer. You're a senior engineer. You've got a great salary. You can always earn great money. You're so secure. Why would you want to bet on stuff? And bit by bit, I think what really helped me there was, particularly with my father. Like, he's a smart man, but more than he's smart, he's so enthusiastic. Like, anything me or my sister have done growing up, he's always got behind and just wanted to be there and get excited about it. So I remember once sort of explaining to him, when he watches cricket, he's glued to the screen. He's got major ADHD, but if Sri Lanka play again cricket, he is glued to the screen, and he paces around the living room, crunching run rates to the second decimal and required run rates. And if there's a couple of overs at this rate, then it's going to go up to this rate. So he's naturally a brilliant cricket brain, and he loves his cricket. So one day we sat down together and we were watching a Sri Lankan game, and I sort of said to him, I can't remember these situations. Sri Lanka were 2 for something odd. Of course, Mendis was batting, but I said to him, "What do you reckon the run line would be here? If you had to bet on a run line here, what do you think it would be or should be?" And he said, "Oh, probably nothing over 230. I can't remember the exact number, but let's just say that for argument." I said, "Oh, why do you think that is?" He's like, "Because we're prone to a collapse." And sure, whilst these guys are going really well now, I think that at some stage, it was actually Sri Lanka versus Australia in the last ODI World Cup. He said, at some stage there'll be a collapse. I said, okay, cool. So the run at the time was something high. It was like 270 or 280 even. So I pressed the unders on the bet, and I sort of explained to him how these things would happen. And as my father was bang on the money. Like, we fell in a heap, collapsed, and I ended up then backing the overs and showed him that, hey, look, I did take a risk originally, but then I locked in my risk, and now if the game ends between here and here, or the runs end between here and here, we're walking away with a pretty decent profit. And then bit by bit, as the game went on and came close to the death overs, we started middling more. And anyway, it wasn't a massive number, but I think we made about $300 or $400 with that run line. And then my dad got it. And also, while we're trading the run line, we're trading the head-to-head as well. And in that moment, I think it clicked for my dad. And since then, he's been way more supportive, being like, well, you've always loved cricket. I can see it makes you happy. And he's like, I think what he said to me is, regardless, you're going to watch cricket. He's like, if there's a game of cricket on, you're probably going to be watching it, so you may as well find a way to make some money out of it as well. So my dad's on board, but it is still very taboo. And
well, it looks like things have come full circle for you. Your dad could end up working for you.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be brilliant.
But my dad is the last person I'd ever employ in this line of work. He's when he watches Pakistan play, everything is driven by emotion. So I would never ask him anything as to what to bet on. And the thing is, like with my line of work, he's kind of, obviously he was, very upset with me doing this, for a living, especially the fact that, I'm from a, financial background, my degree. So my degree was sort of tailored for banking, and I got a job offer in private equity. And I turned that down to trade. So he never even asked me about my work, because as far as he's concerned, if you're not going to an office or if you're not doing some sort of, hard labor, how could you ever be stressed? you know, little does he, little does he know. But yeah, it's one of those things where he's just put up with it. And he told family, he's trading. So, because obviously I'm from a financial background, and trading, Betfair Exchange is somewhat similar to the financial markets. So my family have got it in their head that I trade the financial markets, and one of my cousins is in asset management. So he's always asking me, "Oh, have you bought shares, and did you get them at this price or not?" So I'm like, yeah. I'm just winging it, and he's asking me, how the markets are and how my portfolio is looking. So it's been 8 whatever years it is now, and it's just an empty conversation about my line of work every single time. My friends and strangers online know what I do, but my family, other than my immediate family, no one really has a clue. Once actually, we had family come to the house, and they saw my screens because I was in the middle of work, and they see all these charts, and I had to kind of drag it up so they couldn't see the horses' names, and they couldn't see the cricket teams playing. And I'm trying to explain to them, I buy shares at this price and I sell them at this price. And if you look at this line here on the price volume chart, I'm trying to tell them this is the financial market, while I've dragged it all the way up on the ladder so you can't see the names of what I'm betting on. Honestly, that's kind of where I'm at.
It's funny you mention that, because I've had very similar experiences. My immediate family know, a couple of my mates know the extent of what I'm doing it to. And I'll bring up one of the mates in particular who's I'm very close with. But when I talk to my cousins as well, or when I talk to, like other people, they all think I'm a share trader. So I just use, when they ask me questions, and I just always, take what I know from cricket trading and put it into share terminology. So I say, I buy this share because I think it's value at the time. Little do they know I'm buying a cricket team for the next 12 balls, but I think there's going to be a wicket. So, and then they say, how much do you know how to put on? And I say, do you look at the market capacity, which is on every share profile? And I say, I look at the volume the volume and the liquidity that's available. And
that's the thing. You try and mix the lingo. You try and cross it over. That's kind of what I find myself doing, and it's just a nightmare. My only saving grace is that over the last few years I've been investing in crypto, so they kind of think crypto is synonymous with financial markets. So I try and steer any conversation away from shares, and obviously they don't know I bet on sports, so I just talk about crypto, which they don't bet on. So it's easy to wing it.
There you go. And even thinking about my father, actually, like based on that, like that man hates shares. He thinks shares are the devil. He's like, why would you buy shares? There's no guarantee it's gambling. So he thinks even shares is gambling. So anyway, it was interesting, and it was